Chapter 4, Section 1. Objective. Learn to evaluate expressions with exponents. Our essential question, how do I compute a positive number to a positive exponent? A few of the vocabulary terms we'll be using: exponential form, exponent, base, power. If a number is in exponential form, the exponent represents how many times the base is to be used as a factor. A number produced by raising a base to an exponent is called a power. Both 27 and 3 to the third represent the same power. To give you a visual, the exponent is the 7, the base is the 2. That means if we were to actually go and solve this, we would take 2 times 2 times 2 7 different times. Let's see what these would look like in exponential form. First, we see what number we're multiplying repeatedly, which would be 4. Because we're multiplying 4 over and over again, that is our base number. Our exponent will be how many of them there are. There happen to be 4 4s, so we would write it as 4 to the 4th power. In example B, we have the number -6. Notice how it's in parentheses. When we rewrite it, we need to keep it in parentheses for it to be written correctly. There are 3 of them, so in parentheses we would have -6 to the 3rd power, or -6 cubed. We can do the same thing even if we have 2 different factors. We just combine what's the same. So we have 2 5s, so 5 to the 2nd power, and 4 d's, so d to the 4th power. It's all multiplied together, so we can write them side by side. Another one similar to that, we have 2 7s and 2 b's, so we get 7 squared times b squared. Squared is another word for the 2nd power. Simplify. Now we're looking to find out what these values actually are as a single number. So if we want to simplify 3 to the 5th power, it's multiplying the number 3 5 times. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, which is 243. If we're dealing with a negative number in parentheses, we're still multiplying that number 5 times. But now it would be -3 times -3 5 different times. If we have an odd number of negatives, we're going to end up with a negative answer, and we already know that 3 to the 5th power is 243, so our final product is -243. If you're going to do this in a calculator and it's a negative number, make sure you enter it in exactly as you see it, with the -3 in parentheses to the 5th power, or you may come up with a different result. Let's try another one. -4 to the 4th power means -4 times -4 times -4 times -4. 4 negatives is going to make a positive because there's an equal amount of them. And 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 is 256. Fractions can also have exponents. If we take 1/2 multiplied together 8 times, we multiply fractions straight across, so the numerators, because they're all 1, and then in the denominator we'll multiply 2 times 2 8 times for 256. So our answer would be 1 over 256. Let's see what happens if the negative is on the outside of the parentheses, or if there are no parentheses around it at all. This is really asking us to find 5 to the 2nd power and then multiply it by -1. So we end up with -5 times 5, which equals -25. 9 to the 7th power means we have 7 9s multiplied all together, 4,782,969. The last thing we'll need to do is make sure we're using order of operations correctly. We're asked to evaluate x times the quantity y to the x minus z to the y plus x to the y for x equals 4, y equals 2, and z equals 3. So we need to start by putting numbers in place of those variables. We have the values, we have to make sure we correctly put them into the operation. When we've substituted them in, this is what it would look like. 4 times the quantity, 2 to the 4th, minus 3 to the 2nd, plus 4 to the 2nd. Order of operations says parentheses first, and inside of parentheses we would start with the exponents. So 2 to the 4th is 16, 3 to the 2nd is 9. Continuing with parentheses, and you can see we evaluated the exponent on the outside as well, just to save ourselves some time. 16 minus 9 gives us 7. Next step is multiplication for 28, and last 28 plus 16 is 44. Don't forget to use PEMDAS every step of the way. Make sure your notes are filled out completely. Go back through if you need to get more examples. On the left-hand side, write questions that can be answered from the material in your notes. Review your notes and complete the summary before class.